about to go down. Oh man, we got so much to talk about. Welcome to the show. This is your boy. You know who I is. You know who I be. Levelhead with my crew, Mr. Norris. How you doing, Mr. Norris?
I'm doing just fine.
K-Bomb 20. How you doing, K-Bomb?
Man, I'm in these streets. Let's do this.
Keith, you were saying something. What was you saying, bro? I think I interrupted you. What you about to say?
Oh, I was just saying, trying to wrap my head around everything that just happened today.
Yeah.
Trying to find a straight line in these circles.
As you can tell, we got a lot to discuss. We got to talk about Sony and Microsoft, specifically Microsoft's podcast today and their review of the future for Xbox. We got to discuss what they discussed. They squashed a lot of stuff that was being said, but they did leave the door open to everything that was being said. So I don't know what to say. But anyway, and Sony out here on the Me Too movement, they needed to join in to the negative talks, and we got to discuss them as well. And that's pretty much all we're going to talk about tonight. We got Nia up in this piece.
But we got smashed, bro.
Welcome to the show, Miss Nia. Did anything actually happen? That's what we got to discuss. I mean, Phil talked for about 20, 30 minutes, so something happened. But what it all pertained to, it was a lot of open doors. Nothing was really shut. But anyway, welcome. Slap yourself. Welcome. Oh my, let me keep these claps going, man. Welcome. Tonight is the night. Oh, it's the night of all nights. The gaming landscape is shifting. Things are happening. And this podcast is here to talk about all of it. So, welcome to the show. Welcome. I'm hope that y'all came in with your ears open, and you know when Level got it. Well, you know when I take notes. When you know I take notes and got timelines, we got a lot to talk about. But welcome, man. What's up, people? What's up, folks?
What's good?
Man, we got a lot to talk about.
Man, so it seems that everybody here has caught the Xbox podcast and got to see Phil and what's her name again?
Sarah.
Braun.
That's what I want. That's what I wanted to hear Keith say. Miss Sarah Bond and the other guy and the other lady. I don't know none of their names. We got to talk about that, and we also got to talk about Sony, their announcements. But to give us ample time to discuss all this stuff, we're going to go straight into what you've been gaming on. That cool with y'all?
Let's do it, man.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
You know what time it is. It's time for What Have You Been Gaming On? Sing it, folks. Let's go. Hey. What you been gaming on? 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 Gaming on, gaming on, gaming on.
But we got Smash Bros, though.
So who want to go first? Is it K-Bomb? Is it Mr. Norris? Keep your comments down to 2 minutes. No, I'm just playing. Go ahead.
Now, K-Bone, you finna say?
Yeah, I said I can go ahead, go.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Oh, okay, cool. So what I've been gaming on, be really quickly. I've been doing a little bit of the 2K as usual, but a little FIFA. Coming home has got on. We played FIFA this week. But two games in particular I want to talk about, spend most of my time talking about. Overwatch. So they just dropped a new patch for Overwatch. The new season 9 just came out. They dropped a brand new patch, and this is the whole live of the service as a service thing. Kind of been talking to you guys about, and they have completely changed the game of Overwatch. They made a very, very change to the core of how Overwatch works and how it plays. To as far as the health pool of their characters, the size of the projectiles, the amount of healing that is done, some of the other passive abilities that players have, and they have completely changed the game. And I will say, I think they've changed it for the better. I think it plays much better. The time to kill is a little bit slower, but you don't have these long, drawn out battles because they changed the way healing works, the way damage characters deal damage and prevent healing. All in all, I think it's a really good patch. And I think it helps the longevity of the game, makes it play better, and I think overall it's a success for the Overwatch 2. So that's my quick breakdown of that. But outside of that, I have been spending. Sorry about that. I've been spending the majority of my time playing Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. And I will say this: this game is a platformer. It is a platformer. I am tired of solving all these doggone puzzles. Just let me fight stuff. Just let me fight. I don't want to have to solve puzzles. That's one thing I used to hate about God of War when they would stop the gameplay. You would go into this room and now you got to solve this puzzle. I just give me my action, right? But yeah, it's a platformer, and I'm learning all the platforming things to do, and it is not the greatest thing, but I am getting through it. About halfway through at this point. I got about 20 hours, it says, that I have into the game. Probably a little bit more before I get done. And yeah, it's fun. The story is there. It's not. It doesn't feel like a Prince of Persia story. I will say that it doesn't feel Prince of Persia. It feels like they use the word Prince of Persia to piggyback off of the legacy of Prince of Persia. I think this game could have not had the Prince of Persia name and would have felt the same because it doesn't feel Prince of Persia. You meet the prince for like out of the 20 hours that I played, I've probably seen the prince 5 minutes of it. It's just a backdrop for the gameplay, and I think they use the name just because it's easier to go with an established IP than to create a new IP and kind of making something else. So that's my take. That's what I've been gaming on, and so yeah, I'll pass it on.
Okay. What I want y'all to do, those that are listening right now, I need y'all to run these numbers up. I need y'all to send this out. So link the podcast to your X spheres or Twitter spheres and let folks know we in here because we want to get the chat room filled up tonight. I need folks here. So run it up. Nia, run this up. Everybody run it up. Hit that like and subscribe. Run this up. Anyway, Mr. Norris, come on through, bro.
What have I been gaming on? Let's see. Bloodstained, not the Game Pass version. There's a Game Pass version of Bloodstained. I did not know that. I bought the game for like $4. Bloodstained is a spiritual successor to the Castlevania games. I think I said on here once before, I do not like the Castlevania games, but I wanted to give it a try. I had been looking at that game. I love the art direction. But like I said, I don't like the Vania in Metroidvania, if you know what I mean. Like I don't I don't like the Castlevania games, but I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try to step outside of my.
All right. You gotta help a person that doesn't really play platformers. What is the Vania part of the Metrovania games?
It's not Metroid, and it's a lot slower. It still has like the map that you're looking at on Prince of Persia is similar, those little boxes or whatever, and you go on through those. So that's there, and you're backtracking in this Bloodstained game or Castlevania games, but the gameplay is a lot slower, and it's dealing with like monsters and werewolves and vampires, Dracula. You know what I mean? So it's a different type of game where it's like Prince of Persia, Metroid, and the other types of the Tales of Zentera. Like those games are fast paced, are shooters, so on and so forth. This game is a platformer just like those. It's just it's a slower paced game, and you got to take your time. And it's a story with it too. You should check out the trailer to see. Since you stepping on Prince of Persia, you might like this story too. I don't know.
I'm about to be done with platformers for a while because, good lord, the backtracking. Oh. Why am I going? It takes me. Even though they have fast travel in this game, I couldn't imagine playing a Castlevania without fast travel. I would throw up in my mouth. So,
Oh wow.
I'm just saying.
No, I kind of like that because I always find something I missed.
I don't want to do all that. I just want to battle. That's why I like linear games. I don't care for all that.
Hey, somebody clip that. Use that later.
That's funny.
I ended up getting Devil May Cry as well. I think I bought that for like $7. I don't know about the Devil May Cry controls, man. I don't know. It just feels weird. It's using the RE engine. I'll give it a try. Like seriously give it a try. But I played a little bit of that, a little bit of Hi-Fi Rush and Returnal. But I didn't really dive deep into any of these games this week. I didn't really have time, but that's what I played this week.
Okay. For me, I'm still on that Resident Evil 4. I'm at the end of the 13th stage where you run into the thing with the 5 hearts, and I didn't have the heart to face it. So
you saw the hearts?
I didn't see the hearts, but I read enough of the stuff on it to understand
okay.
that's what it said. So I ran out. I got the key and started the machine. And he came out of nowhere, and I was blasting away. I don't have enough bullets. I don't have enough shotgun shells. So level ran back to where the dude is, where you can, and the typewriter is, and he just saved. So I go and I open the door. This is what I keep doing, Keith. I keep opening the door, and he's standing right there, and I just say, you know what? I don't think I'm going to play this right now. So I probably get on that tomorrow when I get off work, because I pretty much cleared everything out. Me and the wife didn't really do anything on actual Valentine's Day. So we're going to do something this weekend, so that way we can have actual time to really do it. And so I cleared up my weekend, so I should be able to get some gaming in on that. But I played that, and what else did I play? That's about it. So that's what we've been gaming on right there. So let's get into these topics. Lots to talk about tonight. So as you know, and like I said, I need y'all to get this chat room filled up. So post this on anywhere that you know people. Tune in so we can get folks in here, because I want to have a real good discussion tonight. So as you know, Xbox had their podcast live today where they kind of begin to address a lot of the rummaging, the rumbling of protest and issue amongst their fan base with a lot of the, I guess you could say, misinformation or partial information. I won't say it was misinformation, but partial.
Yeah, definitely partial.
Information that was out there, and they began to kind of quell and calm the storm. But at the same time, they left the door open to all that was pretty much said. So we got to discuss this podcast. Now, how I want to do it is I want to break it down, right? I literally listened to this thing and literally marked out each point in this podcast that I personally want to discuss what Phil said and the open-endedness of it, the lack of clarity or the misdirection or pretty much saying something without saying it. It's clear to me that Xbox is no longer a box idea. I say that from the top. Xbox is no longer a box. Xbox is more about ecosystem now. It's trying to be a thing that go beyond plastic. They really trying to be everywhere, and that's the ideal and everything. We kind of talked about that last week, but I really feel like they fleshed that out. They fleshed that out a lot in this podcast, where they really just putting the ideal that we want you to play. One of their statements was, play. What did he say? I got it wrote down there. Healthy players community, healthy community, creator community, healthy business, and he said, play where your friends are. Play with your friends on devices you want to play on. That's what he said. Play with your friends on devices you want to play on. So, first of all, before we get into the podcast, I'm going to give each of you an opportunity to share some thoughts about it. So, I'll bring you in, Keith. How did you feel about some of the stuff Phil them said today?
So after I listened to it 15 minutes after it aired, and I listened to it on my podcast on my phone as opposed to watching the video. So I didn't even know there was a video that existed. But after listening to it, as weird as this may sound, I felt underwhelmed. The rumors and the hype was so strong that when I actually got the information from Phil and his team, it just felt like it didn't live up to whatever the hype of the rumors were. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like, this is that, man. I was ready for some smoke and some tears, because I'm sitting there thinking to myself, why are we even doing this? If those are just rumors, they say where there's smoke, there's fire. And they came out and pretty much said, no, we're going full head of steam. We're going forward with everything. We got consoles on the way. We got games on the way. More exclusives. Certain games not coming to certain platforms. Well, we got 4, coming out. I know we're going to get into that a little bit deeper and kind of speculate what those games may be. But it just felt very underwhelming, and I felt like I walked away with it with more questions. And like you said, I think it is smart that you want to break it down, because there's a lot of open-ended things, especially the way Phil speaks. He speaks in a way of like, I'm not really finalizing my thought. I'm saying something, but there's more to it, even though I said no. I said no, but it was like a no. It wasn't really a no. It was like possibilities. And I don't know. I just felt underwhelmed from this. I feel like they should have just been like real concrete. And somebody pointed this out, and I'm gonna yield after this. But somebody pointed out that they think Sarah was there to say the things that Phil wanted to say, but Phil can't say because he knows he'll get that slander. But they won't slander Sarah, so she's talking about consoles. Like, why would you talk about consoles when your current console? Well, anyways, K-Bone said that part. I want him to say that because he can say it so much better than I can. And I want him to do that. But anyways, yeah, I don't even know why we talking about consoles. But anyways, I feel like they still dancing. Like, the halftime show was Sunday. Y'all dancing and singing around the point. Like, we need to get to the point. But anyways, I'm going to yield after that.
Okay. Quick, K-Bum, your thoughts before we begin to dissect this 23-minute podcast.
I think Keith said it best. They were dancing like the halftime show. You know how Usher was sweating before he stopped and started singing? That's how I feel. That's how hard I think they were dancing, because they did some tap toeing, some half speaking, some we say one thing but we really mean another. Like the whole speech about exclusives and how exclusive doesn't matter. And then they go on a rant, talk about how much Power World did and how these exclusive has helped Xbox. I'm like, wait, I thought it wasn't about the exclusive. Like, y'all need to make up y'all mouth. Which one is it? Is it exclusive? Is that what helps sell consoles? Or Is it? Is it not? And it's one thing I want to point out. If anybody, I want you to do a drinking game. I don't drink like that, but I think it would be a very cool drinking game, and I think you will get really drunk very quickly. Go back through the podcast and drink every time you hear the word platform.
Oh my goodness.
Every time you hear the word platform, take a drink. I bet you by the time the 15 minutes you're drunk because they use that word exclusively so much
Wow.
because they're trying to hide the word of console. They're trying to hide the certain language. So now they refer to everything as platform instead of beforehand we were talking about boxes. Right, it was the PlayStation box, the Nintendo box. Now they use it. They've transitioned to the word platform for everything. And
Right.
That was very interesting to me.
Okay. All right.
Well,
So let me
before you go,
I was just going to send some shots out. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I want to send a shout out to D2K, Chariot Man, and DJ Fanatic, aka First Name Basis. Welcome to the show. Now I need y'all to run it up. Now I want this chat room filled. So let folks know we here. I want to see what's her name? Donkey Kong. What's her name? I can't think of her name right now. Banana DK. I think.
Raging Banana.
And
No.
Banana DK.
Yeah, Raging Banana.
Raging
Banana.
Banana. Get Raging Banana. I want everybody in here. And if you here, let us know who you is. If you listening, let us know who you is so we can, because we need discussion on tonight. We need the chat room active. I want to hear y'all thoughts because this is unprecedented. This is a first. Well, maybe not a first, but maybe a first that we've seen something like this around a subject like this outside of Sega. And I don't even know if it was done quite like what Xbox is trying to do. Alan Steve, welcome to the show, bro. So, all right. So, I'm going to start this over at the beginning where they begin to talk about
just 4
the
games.
4 games, right? So, so they kind of come out the gate.
I'm joined by Phil, Sarah,
And it's not so long, so we got plenty of time.
Talk about game exclusivity.
So they got to talking about game exclusivity.
How that might be an impact on Game Pass, and we want to talk about hardware too, and how all of this fits into the strategy.
Let's
at
listen to
Xbox.
this.
So where should we
and
start,
break this
Phil?
down.
Well, when we originally had planned for the show, starting back in December.
Can y'all hear that?
I
Let
think
me know
we
if y'all can
probably
hear
would
it.
have started with Activision Blizzard, maybe talked a little bit about the exclusivity with some of the news coming up, and then hardware. But we've had some unforeseen news that has come out. So let's just go and talk.
So right here, he begins by saying what they plan was. They wanted to talk about Activision, and they wanted to talk about Bethesda and their plans for acquiring those 2 companies or those 2 development studios. But because of all the happenings that took place with things getting out in the speculation of them going third party, and they had to kind of pivot and deal with this matter now. It was just getting too loud. It was just catching too much steam on on Twitter and across the gaming sphere. This noise about third party and them going third party just got too big. Now, as you saw, we was talking about how the Xbox fan base was basically Chicken Little, running around screaming, "The sky is falling. We about to lose our box." So Phil and the rest had to come out and deal with this matter. And from that angle, I think that's a first. Wouldn't y'all guys say that? That we've seen something like this?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So that's where we at. So they begin to talk about, kind of deal with that and kind of clarify and correct. So let's continue listening.
The exclusivity question, because I know it's on the minds of a lot of people. We hear from the community, and that's an important input for us. So we made the decision that we're going to take 4 games to the other consoles, just 4 games, not a change to our kind of fundamental exclusive strategy. We're making these decisions for some specific reasons. We make every decision really with the long-term health of Xbox in mind. And long-term health of Xbox means a growing platform, our games performing, building the best platform for creators, reaching as many players as we can. We're always looking to learn as a leadership team and to grow. And we think this is an interesting point in time for us to use what some of the other platforms have right now to help grow our franchises. So
Okay, so this is the part where he says it was just 4 games, right? They didn't really reveal what those games were. So we need to park right here and speculate on what we think the games are. They said 2 smaller titles, and then they said 2 bigger titles, all with a criteria of being on the system for at least a year, and games that have kind of stalled out, I guess, are not selling as much. So who wanted to kind of tackle this part? What games do you think that Field them are considering? We know that it's not Starfield. They squashed that. And I'm reading through the comment section. D2K said the FTC leak was the monkey wrench, I think. Okay, yeah. Cherry Man said Microsoft Xbox is still going to be around. Gamers was panicking. You absolutely right. But Phil is double talking. Cherry Man, Phil is double talking. He knows he can't say that they're going away like K-Bums. No, it was Keith. Keith said that they're trying to distance themselves from the Xbox. I think that might have been the plan, but they had to pivot. But I don't think that box, and it goes to what D2K said a little earlier, I think that box is an afterthought now. I'm getting ahead of myself. So, Keith, come on through here and speculate real quick. What 4 games do you think they're talking about from their exclusive line of games?
Well, so I think the first one, and I think it's a given, Hi-Fi Rush makes the most sense. It has the art style. It has the ease of play. Like if you ever played it, it's not a hard game to just get into. It's a Bethesda game, so Bethesda's clearly, familiar with working on other platforms. So I think Hi-Fi Rush is a given, because I think the 2 criteria is like single player. Then I think there was like 2 games that was like
it had a community.
That has a community behind them. So
yeah.
The other one, Sea of Thieves, makes a lot of sense for a community game. If you think about it, you allow PlayStation gamers and Switch owners to join the PC and the Xbox, and now you've built up a bigger community, and now Sea of Thieves becomes a bigger game. And Sea of Thieves really isn't a bad community game. So to me, those 2 make sense. And I've heard Grounded. I would agree. Grounded is similar in Sea of Thieves as a community driven game. And I'm going to throw a monkey wrench in here. The last game that I think is going to come, because I got 2 ideas. So I'm not settling on one, but I know it has to be one. And I'm going to go back to the Xbox One generation, and it's either going to be Quantum Break or Sunset Overdrive. I think that would be the last big game. It's been out for more than a year. It's a single player experience. It can be ran on the Switch. I think that should be a criteria. It can be ran on the Switch because it was running on the Xbox One. So for me, it's going to be either Quantum Break or Sunset Overdrive, and I think it will be one of those games. But I think the first 3 that I mentioned, I think those are a given.
Okay, K-Bum, what 4 games you think it is?
Well, I agree with Keith. I think Hi-Fi Rush is a slam dunk. It just feels like a multi-plat. It did, even when it came out, it didn't feel like an Xbox game, even though it was sold on the system. So I think that's a no-brainer to bring that over. I think Sea of Thieves, because they were talking about multiplayer games and a community, and that has both. So that kind of fits their criteria. But the other ones, I'm not too sure. I know I've heard speculations of Gears. That to me that would make sense, but they said first iteration. That was one of the criteria is that it's the first iteration of the game, and so Gears wouldn't really qualify in that category. So I've also heard Grounded. I also heard uh, Pentiment is what I've heard as well. I don't even know what that game is. That's just
Trash.
what I've heard. Trash. Okay. So that's just what I've heard. But I do feel very good on Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves, and probably Grounded. I think that's an audience for Grounded. I think Switch owners may enjoy that game because that's the game where you're like little,
Yep.
right? Yeah, with the insects. Yeah, I think PlayStation and Switch owners would like that game. So I think that would work pretty well with other audiences.
Now
But other than that,
you said first iterations, right?
first iteration. Yeah, the first iteration of the game. So
So the-
not anything with sequels, not a 2, not a 3. So that it kind of takes Gears out of that bubble.
Right.
That's why I do think it's Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi, but and Grounded. That's the 3. The fourth one I can't really put a pin on.
Okay.
To be honest with you.
Now I know he said that, but I'm not gonna. I'm going to venture out to say that was he's saying that, but that may not be accurate. But because I do think I definitely think it's Hi-Fi. Well, I think we got enough evidence that Hi-Fi Rush is the one of the games. I believe Sea of Thieves is the other game exactly for the same reason you did, K-Bum, because he said multiplayer and like he more kind of alluded to online play. But I do believe that it may be Gears, and I'm gonna go out there and say Halo Infinite. Now
I can't see that.
I can't see it at all.
I know, but if they're gonna do this, the 4 games that they do, like Grounded and what's the other one, Pentiment,
Yeah.
those are not gonna move the needle. They need needle movers. They need now Halo Infinite may be a stretch. It may be a stretch. I'm not Boo Boo the Fool. I'm not unable to know that what I'm saying is, this is their face IP. This is their IP of IPs. But because of the nature of Halo Infinite being a multiplayer online, and the fact that its community kind of has stalled out, and Halo has kind of stalled out as a franchise, I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think Halo Infinite is being considered. The only 2 that I feel confident about is Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi Rush. Gears makes sense to me. Halo Infinite makes sense to me. The other 2, to me, like Keith said, Pentiment, I went and looked up Pentiment. I'm like, there's no point of putting that in. I mean, if you put it somewhere, you shouldn't even make no deal about it. That's not going to that's not something you would talk about here. But I don't know enough about Grounded to say if that's a title as well. But I think Halo needs a resurgence. They need to revive Halo, and I think this will be a great way to do it. But I'm not saying, because you're right. He did say first iteration, but Phil also could be just saying something to be misleading. They lie, because I think they're trying to quell a storm that is actually got some truth to it. That they are planning on putting a lot of games on other platforms. They just can't reveal that right now because they saw the outcry from the ideal of putting all these games. But I think Halo, if not in this first 4, is down the road. But anything else before we keep going? Because
Got a question.
Yeah.
Is Insomniac Games exclusively working for PlayStation now?
Yes.
Or are they still?
I think
they are.
Insomniac is Sony now, ain't right, K-Bun? I think they bought it.
buy them. I'm not 100% sure. I have to look that up because I'm not 100% sure. if
Comment
Sony actually
section.
bought them.
Answer that question for Keith. Is Insomniac Studios Sony exclusive, or do Sony own them or own like shares in them? Are they second party, first party? I believe they are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2019. Yeah, 2019.
Okay.
They bought them.
So I would say Sunset Overdrive probably wouldn't go. Mm-hmm. I'm still sticking with my games. Could be Quantum Break, because I look at those games and I say they didn't really move the needle originally because there was a lot of stuff going on with the original, with the Xbox One, but the games themselves were good. And I look at it the same way I would look at those Wii U games going over to the Switch, and they got brand new life. And you put a Quantum Break on a PlayStation, like I think fans would eat that up. The ones that missed it, I would even say, even with Sunset Overdrive, because these games do fall under the criteria of first iteration. There are no sequels to these games.
Okay.
So I still was, because to me, if you're gonna do Halo, I think Halo is your last ditch effort. You break glass when the alarms are sounding. Ding, ding, Xbox gonna shut down. All right, give them Halo. You know what I mean? I think you hang on to Halo to your very last breath. Like you don't give, or Gears. You don't let those go just yet.
To me, I'm gonna say Halo. Yes, Halo is, as I said, Halo is a stretch. Gears. I don't think Gears is a stretch, but I believe one of them would be, if not the first four, I believe one of them would be a good title. If I was doing it, one of them would be in my four. I don't know if they're going to do that. And like K-Bum said, they did say first iteration, but Phil was doing so much double talk and non-talk and circle the wagons talk and just talk that I don't even put much of nothing into that first iteration. I think he's just trying to throw people off the scent. That's what I think he's trying to do. So
I don't know if I can agree with that, because he does kind of have an obligation to not be blatantly lying. I mean, they're shareholders, and it's not just gamers he's talking to.
I know, but K-Bum, we know that you are a fan of one of the most lyingest peoples. That's Sony. They lie, bro.
I understand they lie, but they wouldn't straight up lie like
but
that.
He's lying to us.
They would talk around it. They would talk around it, and they would give you like a side eye.
Remember when Reggie Fils-Aimé said we were not about to announce any new system? Then they came out with the 3DS, literally like 2-3 weeks later. He had just lied and said they wasn't going to announce anything new system. We got the 3DS within a week or two. They was making that announcement. These folks lie. I'm not arguing for it, though. I'm not
saying that they don't. But what I'm saying is they say stuff like, we're not announcing any new thing right now. And they'll say something like that, and then they'll announce it 2 weeks later. And they'll be like, yeah, I said right now. I ain't say
he said the plan. The plan is to only release first iteration. That plan could change.
He didn't say the plan. He said the first 4 games are this. He didn't say anything about a plan. So, he said the first 4 games are this.
We finna listen to it. Let's listen to what he said.
I'm not going to name those games. The teams that are building those games have announced plans that are not too far away. As we know, game teams put a lot of energy into their announcement.
They announced plans that are not too far away. To me, that's Nintendo Direct. That's pointing to a Nintendo announcement. And that's Hi-Fi Rush. That's what I believe. I believe what he just said is pointing to a Nintendo announcement, and those companies are gearing up for that. That's why he won't share it, because I bet it's a part of something Nintendo is doing later, maybe later this month or next month. But anyway, we could talk about that later. What did he say? Go ahead, Phil. Talk.
So I don't want to take anything away from those teams. So I won't be talking about the titles specifically, but I think when they come out, it'll make sense.
Can we say if either of those titles are Starfield or Indiana Jones?
They are not Starfield or Indiana Jones.
So he
Well,
quashed
what
these
was the
kills
criteria and how the team was thinking about selecting
Selecting
those
the
4
4.
titles?
Let me start a little bit outside of that, and then I'll get to the 4 specific games that we're talking about right now. Because the fundamental decision driver for any decision that we make, anything we're going to talk about today, is the long-term health of Xbox.
Long-term
that
health
we're running
of
a growing
Xbox.
platform that is reaching more players, that our games are having as much success as possible. And I do have a fundamental belief that over the next 5 or 10 years, exclusive games that are exclusive to one piece of hardware, are going to be a smaller and smaller part of the game industry. And that's not something.
Okay. So we still ain't got to the criteria, but he's saying so much that does it. He's saying so much yet saying nothing. So games, and he said he said exclusive will become less and less important. Is that kind of what y'all took? Let me run it back. Let me see again.
Health of Xbox.
Health of
that
Xbox.
We're running a growing platform.
That
is reaching more players. That our games are having as much success as possible.
Much success as possible.
And I do have a fundamental belief that over the next 5 or 10 years,
5 to 10 years,
exclusive games that are exclusive to one piece of hardware, are going to be a smaller and smaller part of the game industry.
Exclusive are going to be a smaller and smaller part of the industry. So he's saying the exclusiveness of games are going to shrink.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all agree with that? Years. 5 to 10 years. Do y'all agree with that?
Yes and no.
Okay, go ahead.
So no, it depends on how you quantify the statement. So what he talked about was this. He said, I actually wrote this down as one of my points. He said, I think exclusivity to one platform is going to be a thing of the past. To one platform only. I think it's going to slowly drift away. Nintendo right now is the only person that's holding true to that. Xbox has already switched. Sony has already switched off of that.
Okay.
Because Sony is already putting games on PC, and Helldivers was the first one that they did day and date. So that was their trial. So yes, I do believe, and Sony is hopping onto the bandwagon even more. They even said in their statement that they want to do even more games like this for PC. I think we're going to see less and less of a single platform, a game being on a single platform. Now, where I don't agree with is that I don't agree with just putting all of our games on the competitors, the direct competitive systems.
But that's what he's kind of alluding more to than
no, that's not what he's alluding to. I think you have to listen to it. He talks about.
I listen to him. I hear you.
He said console, mobile. He said console, PC, and then he kind of said his situation, which is console, other consoles.
Right.
And I agree with him when you say console, PC. I agree with him when you say console, mobile. I don't agree that it's going to become a thing. A common thing to see Nintendo games on Xbox, or Sony games on Xbox, or Sony games on Nintendo. I don't think that's going to be common ground.
And that's where I'm pitching my tent that Phil double talking. Okay. Yes. And they started it. That's why he's saying that line, because they started, and he's going to deal with it a little later. They started the whole trend between them and Sony of putting their first-party exclusives on PC. They started that, and now we see Sony doing it. But we see Sony doing it, but we've never really. I know the fanboy stuff argue for this no longer exclusive, but when it comes to the big three, that's where the exclusive talk matters. Between the big three, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, and their first-party titles amongst that community, I don't see, and that's what you're saying, and Phil is kind of trying to blur it because of the PC element. They trying to blur it I don't see in 5 or 10 years, and D2K saying it right in the comment section, because I know for sure Nintendo not doing it. And I know for sure Sony is definitely not finna send Microsoft anything. So, especially in those 5 to 10 years. So, PC, okay, yeah, but that's kind of a gray area. That's kind of a
console.
Huh?
It's not a console.
It's not a console, right?
It's not a direct competitor.
Right.
Because
It's
not like
make your.
call it.
I mean, if you want to say Steam is a direct competitor, you can, but it's really not because you have so many.
It's not.
You got so many things on PC. You got Epic, you got Steam, you got Ubisoft, EA. You got so many, so you can't just point to one person. And then EA works with Microsoft, and they're all partners.
Man,
but I do want to say I'm going to give Phil his flowers here and his respect because we don't really know the inner workings. So I'm going to agree with his statement because the reason they're even putting titles on PC and you see Sony doing it and they're very successful with Helldivers is because it's getting expensive, guys.
Yeah, that's
right.
Yeah.
It's really getting expensive, and I really think that's what he's saying. It's getting expensive to keep up with the demand that we demand as the gamers. We demand the highest quality because I'll be honest, Microsoft hasn't really been giving us the highest quality, and Sony has been spending a lot of money giving us the highest quality. So it only makes sense to spread it around, but not like you said, level not to your nearest competitor.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to give you Uncharted. Heck no.
Right, and that's what that's why I was like,
yeah.
I felt like he was using PC to make a statement that most likely won't pan out true amongst the big three. But K-Bum, you're right. I'm not disagreeing with you. I just feel right there, Phil was being a little misleading. But he wasn't lying. It just, he tried to sneak it in and place it amongst the big three. And I thought that was kind of disingenuous. But I'll pivot there. Let's get to this. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was in agreement with that. I don't agree with it. I think when you talk about the single platform, with just the console, but yeah, you're not going to just put that on every system. And I love I'll say this piece and I'll let us move on because I picked this up and I hope you guys pick this up too. I love. And when I say love, I'm saying this in a very sarcastic type of way. That since Xbox purchased Bethesda and they purchased Activision Blizzard, they say stuff like, "We're one of the biggest third-party publishers on Sony's system."
Yeah,
we publish third-party games. Excuse me, no, Activision. Publish third-party game. Don't act like you guys are the savior of third party, and you guys have been putting third. You put Minecraft and
Cuphead.
That's what you did. Minecraft and Cuphead. Now you're like, we're the savior of third party.
Now,
bro, chill.
Yeah,
you bought them 3 days ago.
Yeah, I caught that too. I'm like, y'all just bought them. How y'all didn't release none of that stuff that y'all claim. Y'all just own it now. Like I said, Phil was doing a lot of error. But anyway, let's continue because I want
some great insight. Because if you look at the last 10 years and what the biggest games are today, it's a natural place. Whether it's one console and PC, multiple consoles, mobile console and PC, you see big games landing on multiple platforms. And we want to be a great platform for creators that are trying to realize that potential. But now back to the specifics of the question on these four specific titles. We looked at games that are over a year old. So they've been on Xbox and PC for a while. A couple of the games are community-driven games, new games that kind of first iterations of a franchise.
Okay,
that have
he said a couple. He said a couple of the games. He didn't say all of them.
You are thinking.
Let me go back. Let me get back. I messed up.
Platform exclusives and all the fanfare that goes around that. But games that our teams really wanted to go build, that we love supporting creative endeavors. They can
Okay.
have confidence that they're going to exist in the future. So 2 of them, kind of community-driven games that will end up on other platforms and give us the ability to continue to invest in them. We think that's great for the business and great for the communities, more players to play with. I'd say 2 of the other games are smaller games that were never really meant to be built as kind of platform exclusives and all the fanfare that goes around that, but games that our teams really wanted to go build, that we love supporting creative endeavors across our studios, regardless of size. And as they've realized their full potential on Xbox and PC, we see an opportunity to utilize the other platforms as a place to just drive more business value out of those games, allowing us to
I told you, the platform.
Let me go back. I want to catch
games
that.
that have communities behind them.
I jumped over a little bit.
A year old, so they've been on Xbox and PC for a while. A couple of the games are community-driven games, new games that kind of first iterations of a franchise that have reached their full potential, let's say, on Xbox and PC. There's always growth.
Okay, so the bigger games are first iteration and have been on the Xbox for a year. Has Hi-Fi Rush been on the Xbox for a year?
Close to it, I believe.
Okay. So it's definitely Hi-Fi Rush.
It dropped last January, I believe.
Yeah. So it's definitely Hi-Fi Rush and most likely Sea of Thieves. So I think them the 2 big ones. So, Cable, I think you're right. I think Pentiment and what was that? That other one is going to be the smaller
franchises that
2.
we obviously want to continue to invest in. Part of having the ability to continue to invest in businesses.
I mean, you just
well, listen to this part right here. Listen to this part. I think it is why I'm saying it may be.
We think it's important that these service-based games that
how he describes how small they are,
that they can have confidence that they're going to exist in the future. So 2 of them, kind of community-driven games that will end up on other platforms and give us the ability to continue to invest in them. We think that's great for the business and great for the communities, more players to play with. I'd say 2 of the other games are smaller games that were never really meant to be built as kind of platform exclusives and all the fanfare that goes around that, but games that our teams really wanted to go build, that we love supporting creative endeavors across our studios, regardless of size. And as they've realized their full potential on Xbox and PC, we see an opportunity to utilize the other platforms as a place to just drive more business value out of those games, allowing us to invest in maybe future iterations of those, so sequels to those, or just other games like that in our portfolio.
2 games that were never meant to be.
That's Hi-Fi. That's Hi-Fi, bro. That's Hi-Fi Rush. I don't think Hi-Fi Rush they expected to do what it did. I think that is Hi-Fi. So I'm a pivot. I said in the chat room that I thought one of the smaller games was Hi-Fi Rush. I changed, but I'm gonna change back. I definitely believe one of those biggest games is Sea of Thieves. I don't know what the other one is, but we know it's a multi-plat. It's a multiplayer. The smaller titles that was never meant to be, I think that's Hi-Fi Rush, because it was almost like an indie development, and they shadow dropped it. So that means you just threw it out there. You wasn't expecting much from it, and it ended up being bigger than what you thought, and you said it has kind of reached its max on Xbox and PC. Hi-Fi Rush gonna blow up on Nintendo and Sony. So that's what he said. So it's only 2 of the games that's first what'd you say, K-Bun? What did he say? First iteration. So anyway.
Is Tunic on everything?
No. Is that them? Is Tunic them?
No, it's on the Switch.
Okay. So I don't know, y'all. Let's continue.
And when we don't damage Xbox and we can grow our business using what other platforms have and to help us with that, we're going to do that. And that's really the story behind these 4 games. And last thing I'll say, looking forward, I think there is an interesting story for us of introducing Xbox franchises to players on other platforms to get them more interested in Xbox. We think there's a good brand value for Xbox there. So 4 games, no promise beyond that. So if you're on those other platforms and you see these 4 games coming, please don't take it as some signal that everything's coming. It's not. And we're going to learn.
So when you are thinking about
So 4 games, the other platforms we're talking about is Sony and Microsoft. I mean, Sony and Nintendo. And he says he wants to grow, I guess, interest in Xbox. Do y'all think this will help people become more interested in Xbox?
No.
I don't either.
So that was one of the lines I wanted. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Keith. You were still talking.
Well, no, you can go into it since you probably got notes. I was going to shoot from the hip.
No, this is one of the points that I wanted to talk about, man. And it just like I'm confused here. So I understand that this is them testing the waters, right? But to my thing is, if I feel so, I'm a Sony guy. We know that. I buy every Xbox. I just haven't found a reason to buy this one. But if you put a certain game on a console and I get interested, so you're not putting any of the sequels over again. So you're not doing that again. So am I have to go to your console to do what again? Like I don't get the draw interest into Xbox. I don't get what that plain Hi-Fi Rush is supposed to make me interested. Because to be honest, what game is that? The game with the black guy, the black protagonist, Deathloop. That's an Xbox game, but that's on it. But it doesn't make me interested in wanting to play more Xbox games. Like. And even Sony has a Sony first party exclusive game on an Xbox and a Nintendo system. They're actually on all 3, and which is the baseball game, right? MLB The Show. I don't think that makes people interested in playing other Sony games. So I heard that statement and I heard him say that, and I don't understand what he's really saying, because
I do, but
I don't know.
I don't know if I agree that it's going to work. Now, Nia said this, and it's kind of in line with what I was thinking. Maybe if they, and he's not saying what Nia's saying exactly, but Nia's sentiments is what I think he's saying. He just not saying it like Nia's saying it. Maybe if they grow the interest in the IPs and then pull them into the next Xbox iteration, people may want the next Xbox. What I'm taking from what Nia's saying, and I think what Phil is trying to say is, if we put these games over there and people fall in love with that, like let's say they put the game you was talking about, Keith, from Xbox One. What's the name of that?
Sunset or Quantum Break.
Quantum Break. Let's say they put Quantum Break on the PlayStation. And the success it didn't find on the Xbox, let's say it blows up on the PlayStation, then they bring that game back into the wheelhouse of Xbox. Would you be tempted to go over to Xbox to play the sequel? I'm going to still say no. You're going to be like, you brought it over here, bring it back over here again.
That's the point I'm making. That's the point I'm making. And that I would wait for you to move it over like you did the last one. I don't think I would rush out and want to buy the. I know that when I bought that first Xbox 360. The reason why I bought the Xbox 360 because they had a game over there I couldn't play, and that was Mass Effect. And I went and bought it for Mass Effect. But I bought an Xbox for Mass Effect. If they would put it on the Sony console, I don't think I would have went over to them to play it. I would have waited until the next. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. So
right, I'm gonna read what D2K said real quick, Keith, and I'll bring you in. Keith, D2K said every franchise that used to define the Xbox that made people want to buy one have been ran into the ground. True. That's a true statement. All right, go ahead, Keith. Then we're going to jump back on this.
D2K was hilarious. He ain't lying, though. I look at this completely different. I think they're saying, hey, we're going to put these games over there not to bring you back into our fold, but to soften the blow that we are doing exactly what you thought we were doing. And this podcast that we put out today for 25 minutes is just to get you to calm down. Hey, guys, calm down. Hey, matter of fact, we got more stuff on the way. We got a whole new Xbox coming. But truly, when we see that bottom line and those numbers go up, we're not really mess up about, trying to appease you anymore once we get the money. Once we get the money, there's no reason. Like Kayvon said, Mass Effect eventually came to PlayStation. Had it came day and date, there would have been no reason for him to buy Xbox 360. That doesn't make sense. If you're already making money, why would you stop the pipeline? That don't make sense. Right. So if you're gonna put a game on PlayStation and it sells better on PlayStation, then that's going to be a PlayStation game from here on out. Right. And like I said, this is 25 minutes or 22 minutes podcast to basically say we gotta chill Twitter down. Because Twitter, you so many. Seriously, you think about it. Yeah. So many Xbox gamers were like, "Screw Xbox, I'm not dealing with this no more." Blah blah blah. And then they came out with this mediocre podcast and said everything is fine. Remember, I said that last week. Everything is fine, guys. Everything is gonna be okay. Don't worry, we're here. We got you. Yeah, but they're testing the water with these 4 games. Yeah. And when they get the numbers back,
what
did he say? He said we're learning.
We're learning.
We are learning. Yeah.
When they get the numbers back, it's gonna be a different narrative. So if it was screw Xbox before, it just should remain screw Xbox now.
Well, he said, like he said, and it goes back to what we talked about last week, and I kind of was saying it, and I said it in my video. Oh, don't worry, they got to make money. They just spent $70 billion. They got to make that money back. And he said it. It's like, bro, we just bought. And he said, what did K-Bum just say earlier? Phil was bragging about being the biggest third party on all the platforms. And what was the two acquisitions that he used to make that statement? Activision,
Blizzard,
and Bethesda. So you right on the money. This is just to quiet the cry of the fan base, which he went on to say we can't depend on y'all. But anyway, we getting ahead of ourselves. Let's continue because there's some other points I want to get to.
This concept of live service games,
and I may skip up a little bit.
Bigger audiences, new audiences. How does that apply to future titles? And
now, notice he said bigger audiences. So they kind of taking the blue ocean strategy, but they're trying to use other fan bases as the blue ocean.
You are thinking about the future and this concept of live service games that can benefit from bigger audiences, new audiences. How does that apply to future titles and how you're applying that criteria there?
Yeah, there's really no fundamental change to how we think about exclusivity. We just came out of Developer Direct, which was an awesome show where we showed great games that are coming to Xbox and PC and cloud, which really makes them accessible to hundreds of millions of people. So it's this kind of we're really focused on a couple platforms and what's going to show up there. But our
did y'all catch that? It's already everywhere else. We just focusing on platforms, meaning Nintendo and Sony. Phil is talking
play the games all
around what's really going on here.
When everybody plays, we all win. These have been part of our strategy for years and will continue to be. Our focus is on how do we continue to grow the games industry by reaching more players in more places, and how do we grow Xbox as part of that. Xbox is a hardware platform, Xbox is a publisher of great games, and Xbox as a platform for the world's best creators.
And then knowing that, how do we think about our first-party games and Game Pass?
Yeah, well, to build on what Phil...
Was there anything y'all want to discuss right there? Phil, basically, where is this at? Let me make sure I got this, because I did write something down. We get to where I want to... Yeah, where he says he's about to deal with it now. With Roblox and Fortnite. Let's go.
Well, just said one thing I would add, as you were talking about growth, is just that we've sort of seen this inversion over the last 5 years where it used to be that the platform was the biggest thing.
That's right.
And the games would sort of tuck in within the platform. Today, big games like a Roblox or a Fortnite could actually be bigger than any one platform. And that really has changed the way that we think about things. So in the midst of all that, I think we at First Party can come back to sort of some core principles. First, that all of our games will be on the Xbox platform. Second, all of our games will go into Game Pass on day one. And third, we know that Game Pass will only be available on Xbox.
Okay, so did y'all catch all that? I'm just trying to make sure if I need to play it back. So he used Roblox and Fortnite to make a statement that back in the day, traditionally it was about the council, and all the games was kind of under that umbrella of that ecosystem, under that council. But he said with games like Roblox and Fortnite, these games are too big for one council. And he said, this has changed the way we look at games. And of course it has, because they have one of the biggest ones that has done this. And that's what?
Minecraft.
Minecraft. So do y'all want to share anything about that? K-Bum, Keith, any person? Are we good?
I actually think that's kind of straightforward.
Yeah. I just wanted to put out that this has changed their mind on some things, which should let you know what the future model is, even though they saying everything will be on Xbox. Everything will be on Game Pass day one, and Game Pass will only be on Xbox. That's to shut y'all up, like Keith said. But they future mindset.
I do have a comment.
Yeah, let me finish this. They future mindset is Minecraft, Fortnite, Roblox. That's what they want to get to. That's where the money. That's where they see the money is, and that's going beyond their box and their 20 million fan base and subscribers. Go ahead, Keith. K-Bone.
My head hurts because of the double talk, because they say this. I can't really listen to what you're doing because I don't have the setup to listen and be on the other podcast at the same time. But I don't know if he said the statement yet. But Phil says the statement. There has been no fundamental change in the way we think about Xbox Xbox exclusivity. He says that. But then he also does the thing you just pointed out, which is point out Roblox, point out Fortnite, and how they're too big for one console. So you're telling me to put Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves has always been your goal? Because they play this game and say that we've always wanted you to play the games everywhere. That's been our motto, play anywhere. But anywhere never meant your direct competitors. And they try to redraw the lines as if they've always wanted to put these games directly on the competitors. And I don't understand how you can say we haven't changed the way we fundamentally think about the way we look at exclusivity, but then in the same breath say we're putting 4 games, but not all games, just 4 games on competitor systems. Like,
to learn.
At some point, you had to rethink this. This was never the goal. The goal was to get people to your ecosystem, to Game Pass, because what I remember for the first 3-4 years or 3 years of the Xbox, it's always been Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass, which is exclusive to the Xbox console.
E3.
And you've been trying to get people to get to Game Pass, to get to Xbox, also up. PC.
Hold up, Alan Steed. What you mean reading like leveled head? See what you do to me, Nia? See what you do?
Exclusivity.
One
I got the
time
word.
I read messed up and y'all try to knock me for the rest of my... Come on now. I read pretty darn good. I ain't tripping off of y'all. Anyway.
Pretty darn good. Sound like Shannon Sharp over there. Sound like Shannon Sharp.
Come on, K-Bub.
Come on, Skip. Wait a minute. Skip.
Yep.
Wait a minute.
You saw what he said to Mike Epps, Alan Steed. I'm gonna see you mofo say. Let me stop. Go ahead, man.
Oh man, no, it just like the corporate talk that they're giving us is just disgusting. You literally tell me you haven't changed the approach, but this has never been the approach. And it's like they've already like it's like so they've created the Kool-Aid and they're also the same ones drinking it. Like it's killing me because Phil has made it seem already, not 5 to 10 years from now. He has drunk the Kool-Aid so much. He has already made it seem as if exclusive games for consoles is already a thing of the past. He made a statement about Helldivers and said, and he said, how does this help? Who does this help? This doesn't help anyone. The fact that it's on Xbox and PC, sorry, try that again. It's on PlayStation and PC, but it's not on Xbox. He says words like, this doesn't help anyone. No, fool. It helps Sony because you can only play the game either on Sony console or you can play it on PC. Like he's made it seem like it's already a relic of the past.
He's
when
losing.
It's still the driving reason why people buy consoles as of right now. And like you have, and the thing is, and I'm gonna get on my soapbox. I'm gonna say the last part, and I'm gonna shut up for a while. You talk about Game Pass. Game Pass is not a single game, but it is exclusive to Xbox. It is the reason why you want people to buy an Xbox. So you absolutely believe in the selling of exclusiveness to your console, but you've drank this Kool-Aid so much you don't see how dumb you sound.
Like I said,
Okay.
I'm gonna say this.
I'm done.
Go ahead, Keith.
I just want to point out two things. Exclusive. Y'all remember that when they had their E3 videos or whatever?
Yeah.
Their,
Yes.
Exclusive.
Yes.
First to game Xbox game packs. Exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
That was their messaging.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Oh Lord, what was the second thing I was going to say? Because it was something that came on and said, and it triggered a thought. Oh man, I think I lost it. Level, go ahead. I think something came on just said, and I think I lost it. But go ahead.
What I was going to say is that Phil is basically conceding that they are losing, but they can't. They just can't because of what happened. You got to go ahead. I finish my thought later.
Okay. Yeah. So when he makes a statement, play anywhere. K-Bum is absolutely right. It's within the context. The blanket statement, playing anywhere, can mean anything. Play anywhere. We know that they have a cloud version of Game Pass, so theoretically you can play anywhere. But then when you get to talk about Helldivers, and he says, like K-Bum was just saying, who does this help? Now he's trying to say games should be played anywhere. So they use this same statement only to benefit them. Because if he's talking to the Xbox fanboy or the Xbox fan, both one and the same at this point, and he says play anywhere, this benefits them. But when he talks about the competition, he like you said, it was like a relic of the past, or he tries to talk down upon what they're doing and their business model that's sustaining them, or Nintendo and their exclusives. And it's like, look at this. This doesn't help anybody right here. AKA it doesn't help us. What they're doing over here is killing us. Games should be played anywhere.
Right.
Come over to Game Pass, where it's only exclusive on Xbox.
But
that don't make sense.
No, it don't. But that's why he said play the games you want with the people you want anywhere you want. Yet you're gonna make Game Pass exclusive. It's like anyway. There's a lot of nonsense. It's so much double talk and acrobatic flips with words going nowhere that I think you're right, Keith. I think they did this. They had to do this because of all the noise and all the frustration that was stirring up on Twitter and everywhere else. They had to. And I don't really think they had a plan. Phil literally said, this was not what we originally wanted to do. So you are reacting. This is not a proactive thing. This is a reaction. But anyway, let's continue. I don't think we're doing Sony tonight, K-Bum. We gonna finish this out.
I am fine because we got to finish this.
Okay.
Sort of starting points for us. As Phil mentioned, there are games today that you can play that only can be found on Xbox. And at the same time, we want to bring more of our games to more players. So we're going to continue to look at that. Kind of moving aside though from some of those.
Telling what they going to do as if they're not telling us. We're moving beyond the Xbox. That's what you're saying. But you can't say it right now because you don't want people burning Xbox in the middle of the street. So you're trying to calm the storm, but letting them know the storm is coming. You saying run, is a hurricane coming, but don't worry, stay at home, but it's a hurricane coming. Like, which do I run or what do I need to do? It's confusing.
And thinking more about what does it really mean for the player.
Yes,
D2K.
To me,
the two key
there is
things
a lot of
are,
gaslighting going on here. Here.
What do you say?
Yuck.
I like that.
Cross-play and cross-save. Those things allow us to deliver on the promise of Xbox, which is play with your friends where they are, play on the devices you want.
Wait, okay, so they keep making this statement. They made it at 6:06. He's making it here at 7:48. Play with your friends, play wherever they are. So if that's your message, that means you're not looking to really undergird Xbox Game Pass, unless what Keith is saying, since you have Game Pass in the cloud, technically you could put it anywhere. So you're not lying, you're just not being forthcoming. Because how can I, if your model is play the games you want, with the people you want, anywhere you want, then that's third party. Healthy player community, healthy creator community, healthy business. Those two things are the things you selling, but then you want to say, but we care about the Xbox and you who currently own our system that we need you to stay here until we implement all this, until we test all this to see what we need to do next. So they want to test it, so they need y'all to stay here. Stay put. We're not going anywhere. But we got to test all this stuff with y'all undergirding us till we get our footing over here, then we done with y'all. That's what they saying, basically. Let's continue.
Play the games you want. So that is really only possible at a practical level when you know that your saves and your player are going to be able to move across all those parts. So not all of our games today are necessarily built to take advantage of that. There still will be some games that don't.
Not all our games are built to take advantage of play anywhere you want. That's what he just said.
As we bring more teams into the Xbox family, there's some catch up to do as we get there. But that cross-play, cross-save is like so fundamental to what we're doing. And
cross-play, cross-save is fundamental to what we're doing. And I think it's something that we also, I think it's something that we as first party.
I think it's something that we as first party get such a good benefit from being so close to the platform.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the.
So what y'all think about that?
I'm sorry, I was looking at Sarah. What you say?
He said cross-play.
You a wild boy, Keith. You a wild boy.
Cross-play.
No, I had moved forward. Go ahead.
Cross-play and cross-platform is fundamental to their, let me go back. Let me just make sure I can get it. It's fundamental to what? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me see.
So not all of our games today are necessarily built to take advantage of that. There still will be some games that don't. As we bring more teams into the Xbox family, there's some catch up to do as we get there. But
they're catching up.
Cross-play, cross-save is like so fundamental to what we're doing.
Cross-play, cross-save is so fundamental to what we are doing. How do y'all interpret that?
To me, that just speaks to their infrastructure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just something like I think it was D2K. He said a while ago he was able to play a game that he had played on the 360, picked it up right where he left off from, with Game Pass. Like he had never missed a beat. So I just think that speaks to the infrastructure and kind of talks to the gamer and says, hey, no matter what, your files are always going to be there. The game is going to be there. Because there's also this worry about, if everything goes digital, I'm gonna lose something. And Matt is basically saying you're not gonna lose anything. Cross-play, cross-save, and then you can also speak to other consoles,
Right.
by signing into your Xbox account. If you sign into your Xbox account, it's sitting right there because it's going to be using the same blades. So I just think that's what he's saying, that the infrastructure, and he's basically pointing to Game Pass.
Okay. K-Bone, you have anything to add, or we can keep going?
What they saying is that we're in last place. Please don't go to PlayStation. You can play with your friends on Xbox. That's what they say. Please don't leave me. I'll let you play with your friends on PlayStation. You ain't gotta leave. I mean, that's what they did with NBA 2K, the new one, actually has crossplay, and so a couple of the buddies that we had that was on Xbox only, we can actually play with them in the game without having to, because it was the two communities were separated. The same thing with FIFA. The two communities used to be separated. Xbox had their own system. FIFA had their own people PlayStation had their own people that you play with on FIFA. Now you can play with PC, Xbox, and PlayStation owners. But from Xbox point of view, is, hey, play that third-party game over here. You'll like it too. Don't leave us. Don't play it on Sony's. You can play with your Sony friends here. You don't even have to leave because all of them bought PlayStations, and you made the wrong decision by buying this Xbox Series S.
Okay, so we gonna continue because it's a little bit. We getting close to halfway.
I think it's something that we as first party get such a good benefit from being so close to the platform.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things, like you said, all of our games are always in Game Pass. And so I'm excited to announce, with the coming together that we had with Activision Blizzard King, that Activision and Blizzard games are coming to Game Pass, starting with Diablo 4 on March 28th, which I'm super, super excited to share today. And it's all part of our commitment to make the Xbox experience and the games that we build as widely available as possible. So now the 34 million Game Pass members can all enjoy the fantastic experience of Diablo 4.
Amazing. Can we come back to the point, Phil, you mentioned at the top, this isn't really a change in strategy for us. Can you recap for me how it isn't?
Yeah. And I thought...
Okay, y'all caught that. She asked him a question about that. He said this is really not a change in strategy, but it really is. But anyway, let's continue.
Matt and Sarah did a really nice job.
That's the point that I called out. That's
Go
ridiculous.
Ahead. Oh, okay.
No, I was just saying that's the point I called out a little bit ago about how is it not a change in strategy, because you were never looking at it like this. But anyway, right. I digress.
All right.
Where we're going, if you take a platform feature like Xbox Play Anywhere, which has been a promise that we've made on our first-party games.
This is the part you was talking about,
buy our game once, you're going to get play across Xbox and Windows. I think we're the only platform that does this. That makes it possible for you not only to play with your friends wherever they are, but to know that you actually have multiple entitlements to the games. I think that's a technology I would love to see applied to more platforms. But it is this view that people are going to play Xbox in multiple places. Whether it's play the games you want with the people you want, anywhere you want, whether it's content, community, and cloud, whether it's when everybody plays, we all win. Like, we've had different taglines, different strategy, kind of words that we've used, but always with this view that Xbox is a platform for creators who want to reach the most players. Our investments in xCloud, our investments in franchises like Minecraft and now Call of Duty and other large franchises, so that we learn how to build those. This has been a strat.
Did y'all catch that? They're using Minecraft, Activision's Call of Duty, Let me go back to learn what? What are you trying to learn?
When everybody
Fifth?
plays, we all win. Like we've had different taglines, different
Check that
strategy.
out. I want y'all to catch that.
Kind of words that we've used, but always with this view that Xbox is a platform for creators who want to reach the most players. Our investments in xCloud, our investments in franchises like Minecraft and now Call of Duty and other large franchises so that we learn how to build those. This has been a strategy
that you learned. So you got Minecraft. Minecraft is everywhere. And Keith, like Keith said last week, Minecraft is the biggest selling game. I think even over Grand Theft Auto, right?
Yeah. 300 million, I believe.
So Minecraft is their biggest at 300 million. They mentioned Call of Duty, which is a game that's on multiple platforms, and that's what they're trying to learn to move forward. So again, it goes back to what K-Bomb said. You talking you got a snake's tongue. You talking two ways. You telling them that we're not leaving Xbox, but you telling them we're leaving Xbox.
They're literally confirming everything that these fans feared. We're confirming it, but we're giving it to you with a lot of sugar.
Yeah,
we're giving you a lot of sugar right now. We're it's true. Those rumors you heard, they're true,
but they're not.
But they're not.
let's continue.
Hold on. I just think it's funny. I'm gonna let you move on. I just think it's funny. Every game that he says that he's using as the criteria that they own, Microsoft themselves has created none of them. They have created none of them. Minecraft was created. They bought Minecraft. They bought Call of Duty. They
Cuphead.
Forgot the other game. They bought Cuphead. Like they have created none of this.
Gears. They bought Gears because Gears was made by Epic.
Id.
It
was it. Id. It was it. ID.
Okay.
Cliffy B. Yeah.
Yeah. Cliffy B. Yeah.
But everything, and I'm like D2K said, they have ruined every single thing they touched. Everything they put their hands on and they put their Microsoft spin on it, they've ruined it. And even didn't they buy
Mass Effect, the company?
Mass Effect. I was just about to get there. Mass Effect was done by BioWare. BioWare was funded by Microsoft. Microsoft didn't make it. Microsoft funded and published Mass Effect. Then Mass Effect said, "Nah, player, we want to get under your umbrella," and they went third party and then put it on all the systems.
They wanted to get away from under your umbrella.
They want to get out of their umbrella, yes, away from their umbrella, because, like I said, but Microsoft didn't make that. BioWare made that.
Right.
Microsoft only gave them money and helped publish it. Again, that's something they did not create.
Man. Okay. So the only thing technically we can say they created was Forza and Halo.
No, Game Pass.
I'm telling you.
They sold Game Pass. That's a stolen idea from everyone.
Oh,
whatever.
Okay, so let's continue.
So
All
I'd
right.
say a decade. It's not about one device.
K-Bum, they
It's
just
not
told that
about-
lie. They said this is their strategy for a decade. It's not about one device. Let's continue.
Games in service of a device, but rather the devices that people want to play on.
They telling you exactly look what Phil literally just said. This has been our strategy for a decade. Look.
It's not about one device.
It's not about one device, Xbox. So all your fans listening to you say that we're not leaving Xbox, yet say it's not about one box, which would mean your box. Because Sony is not saying this. Nintendo is not saying this. You're the only company, Microsoft, Phil Spencer, that is saying it's not about one box. But you're telling your fans who bought that one box that you are all about that one box. My Lord, this is retarded.
Let's add a little spice to it.
Yeah.
Go back to our last episode. We said a decade ago, what was that? 2013 when the Xbox One came out? Mm-hmm. They have been trash since then. They have been planning this since the inception. They knew the DRM and all this stuff that happened, and they couldn't get a footing. They knew then, and they have been planning it since then. We can't beat Sony or Nintendo. We got to come up with a strategy. So right now, what they're doing, just hitting you with a little tap, 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 and they're gonna drop that bombshell on you.
Yeah, they jabbing us right now.
A whole decade. He told you a whole decade.
They setting us up for that left hook. Oh man, you're right, Keith. They've been telling us for a while. Let's continue. All right, so
it's not about games in service of a device.
It's not about games in service of a device, but rather the devices that people want to play on. Who are those people? You can't be talking to the 20 that bought your system. Because they want to play on the Xbox. That's why they burning it. That's why they crying. That's why they upset. But here you talking to me and Keith and K-Bum and Nia and everybody else who don't have an Xbox. That's who you talking about here. You talking to me, Phil. You're not talking about to the people that gave you the $500 for your black box that don't have any games but Game Pass. You're not talking to them. You talking to Level, who has a PlayStation 5 and a Switch. You talking to K-Bum 20, who has a PlayStation 5 and a dead Switch. And you talking to Keith Norris, who has a PC
and a dead Switch. I'm dead.
PC, a PlayStation 4, and a Switch. And Game Pass on his PC.
I canceled it. I actually canceled it.
So who are you talking? So, but rather the devices that people want to play on. So in other words, nobody want to play on our devices, and you fools who bought our devices, we can't depend on y'all. We try to get the people that bought the right device. That's what you're saying. That's sad, but it's the truth.
The right device.
K-Bum, you literally said earlier, those who made the right choice. Remember what I said last week too? I said I was not going to make the same mistake I made with the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 with the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. I saw my mistake. And I went on and bought the PlayStation 5 because I knew the games that I wanted to play are over there. I don't know what's going to be over here. And Sunset Overdrive, I finally remember the name of that game. Sunset Overdrive was the only game that I really played on my Xbox One. And the game Keith keep bringing up. That one, Harbor, whatever that game is. So let's continue.
Rather, the devices that people want to play on should be in service of making the games as big and popular as they possibly could be. Because really, a healthy creator community on Xbox, a healthy creator community in gaming all up, is the thing that all of us as game players should be voting for, because that's the thing that will lead to the best long-term success.
So another thing he said, he talked about creators. So y'all done bought all these studios, and I guarantee these studios are fussing about only being able to put their games on Game Pass and dealing with 20 million subscribers. Bethesda was used to selling to everybody, including PlayStation and PC and Xbox. Now y'all bought them, and now they must relegate their title to your ecosystem, to your family of players. So what you're also saying is they don't want to be exclusive. That's what you're saying. The health of our creators. Who are the creators? Bethesda, Activision, Blizzard. All these studios you bought that you're putting your games on Game Pass day and date probably are behind the scenes fussing like, look, that may be your model, but we're not putting all this work in for our games to go die on Game Pass.
See it a different way. I see it as they are still going to, like, I look at it like, okay, we bought Bethesda, and it's just an example. They bought Bethesda. We have to pay Bethesda, period, point blank. But if we can't, Xbox, we can't get the revenue, then we're going to have to start making some changes over here at Bethesda. So the health is not necessarily whether or not their game is good, it's whether or not we can actually advertise your game and get it to sell. And right now, we haven't been able to do that. So in order for us to make sure that they stay where they are, we got to open this up to floodgate. We got to move it off Xbox. Yeah. Because I think in and of itself, they're good, but we're not good. Xbox is its own division under Microsoft.
Right.
And I think they're funded through Microsoft, and they're not bringing in the money.
Right.
So,
That's what and we kind of touched on that last week. If you Bethesda and you got purchased by Microsoft and you remove the third party community and you go just Xbox, the reason you bought it was foolish because you just cut. Xbox was not the majority. That fan base was Sony. That was Sony. And
like
then
70%.
Yeah, so if you don't put the titles on Sony, you cut. The reason you bought it was to make money. You cut 70% of your money out of the equation, trying to stick to 25 million folks or 30 million folks, whatever. No, dude, like you said, D2K, this is right in our face. They talking, but they not. They just talking. Let's go.
And growth in this industry.
And my understanding, just from listening and learning from you three over the past few weeks, just understanding what's happening with Xbox, is that we see trends with player behavior where people are playing on multiple devices. That is the reality. And
this is not new.
We have put some games out on multiple platforms before. So my understanding is that that's been good for players. How does that come back to the business with all of that in mind?
Yeah, as you said, we have shipped games on other platforms. In fact, realistically, if you look with the addition of Activision and Blizzard and ZeniMax, we're one of the largest game publishers on PlayStation. We're one of the largest publishers on the Nintendo Switch.
Why y'all? This is so desperate. This is just desperate. Phil, I would not have done this. Makes you, even though you bought it, y'all bought it. This make y'all look so weak because y'all haven't had it long enough to even make this statement. We don't know we don't know what these companies going to look like under y'all control. So you can't even make this claim yet that you are the biggest. Y'all have mismanaged everything so far. So how do we know you're not going to mismanage? You mismanaging Bethesda so far? I bet they're not happy. Right. Anyway, let's continue.
Which, especially when you put Minecraft into the equation as well. And now we're one of the largest publishers on mobile platforms as well. And that's not something that we want to back away from. We want to continue to be building great games that millions and millions of people can love and that they can play those games where they want to go play. But we do understand the business success that Xbox has to have. Us as leaders in this business, the system today, the system that all companies that we play video games from, is a world of you got to be growing your business. Growth in our Xbox business is critical to the long-term health of Xbox. Many people know I've been on Xbox for over 20 years, and I want to make sure Xbox is in the best position for the next 20 years. That means healthy player community, healthy creator community, and healthy business. So when we look at opportunities to allow more people to play, more people to engage, more people to buy, more people to subscribe, it's all about putting Xbox in the best position. And our hardware is a critical component of that. The absolute best experience somebody has on Xbox is hardware that your team builds and that people play on. But that's not going to be everybody. We fully...
Keith, did you have anything? So they said... basically, healthy player community, healthy creator, healthy business, and the exclusive box has a part to play in that. And so we gonna look for that to continue, but we understand that that's not everybody, so we're trying to go there as well. Mr. Norris, what was you finna say?
No, I was just saying that part spoke to what K-Bone was saying, and if you catch it, because it happens so quickly. These three are masters at what they do. We're watching a master class of double talk and lying and speaking, because they're switching between audiences without you even noticing it. When he gets to talking about we're the biggest third party, or what did you say? Biggest on PlayStation, biggest on Nintendo.
Yeah, third party distributors.
I'm going back.
Publishers. Yeah.
On multiple
publishers. There you go. You don't have to go
before.
back. Publishers. Now he's talking to the investors. Mm-hmm. He's no longer talking to the gamer. The gamer's looking at it like, hoorah! He don't care about that. He's telling them, y'all, we're good. Look what we're doing over here. We went out and bought this thing, and now look how much money they're making us. And then they'll switch to another target audience, and they're doing it so fast that you'll miss it. You know, you'll like if you're looking at it from a fanboy's perspective, you're missing all of the gems that they're dropping. Oh, we're getting another console, so on. So, but I ain't gonna keep going into all that. But yeah, that's what I was picking up when he was saying all that.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. That's a good point.
All right, let's continue. Yeah.
So I think a lot of people think about 2023 as this incredible year for gaming. And in a lot of ways it was. There was some really amazing releases that I think we all enjoyed. But what were the signals behind the scenes that maybe indicated how we wanted to look at the future of Xbox and how we kind of keep up with the industry?
Yeah, such a good question. And I think it's, as people who care about the industry, which I assume is people who are watching this, it was an amazing year. Some great launches, some of the games that I think will stand the test of time and people will be talking about a decade from now. But it's an industry that didn't really grow. And what happens when an industry doesn't grow? You end up with...
What he said, the industry really didn't grow. What is he? I mean, I'm pretty sure they got the numbers, but
I think he's speaking to
all the layoffs.
That too, but if you look at the number of sales, I don't know. Maybe he's wrong because if you do the total number, let's go back to the decade ago, and you look at the total number of sales of units, we can associate that with the gamers who purchased them, and then you look at the PS4, Xbox One. And look at each generation to see what the total number is. Like you add all the numbers up, and I think that's what he's speaking to as the industry. But okay. I think he might be wrong about this one.
Yeah, I think he is. I think y'all may not be growing, but sales are up now. Like it goes. Well, we're not gonna talk about Sony. We're not gonna get a chance to talk about Sony tonight. But maybe I'm being kind of looking at Nintendo and not really looking at maybe I need to take my eyes off Nintendo and kind of just look at Sony and Microsoft. And from that angle, he may be telling the truth.
It's the same people buying it over and over and over again.
Yeah. So let's continue.
With some job elimination, which we had. We had even our own hard decisions to make about building a sustainable business for ourselves, but in no way were we alone in that. When you think about a healthy industry, I want players who believe that they will find the best games on the platforms that they love. I want people who invest their careers in working here to feel like this is a place that they can be successful. And that really is down to being part of an industry that is growing. If you listen to Lisa Su, the AMD CEO, she'll say that AMD-powered consoles are likely to decline in 2024. I think there's an amazing set of games coming in 2024, but if we don't get to growing as an industry, the industry will struggle. And today there's really two choices on how do you grow the industry. Do you say, I have a fixed number of players, the players that we have today, and do I find new ways to monetize those players to get more money from the players that I have? Or do you think about how do I expand the business I have by finding new players?
This right here was the kit and caboodle to me. He said, but if we don't grow as an industry,
if we don't get to growing as an industry, the industry
will struggle.
All and right. Today there's really two choices.
We got two choices
on how do you grow the industry. Do you say I have a fixed number of players?
Do you say I have a fixed number of players, meaning those who bought the Xbox and have invested in the Xbox universe, and figure out ways,
the players that we have today, and do I find new ways to monetize those players?
And find new ways to monetize those players. So
to
basically,
milk money out of them.
To milk money out of them, which they have exhausted. That's what Game Pass was. That's what all the stuff they've been doing. And what it sounds like to me, Phil is saying, we have exhausted what we have. We can't get any more out of these people. So he's saying that the industry hasn't grown, but ultimately he's saying Microsoft hasn't grown. I mean, Xbox hasn't grown. Anyway, let's continue.
More money.
I don't know because
go ahead.
Sony's had layoffs too.
Yeah, but layoffs.
The entire gaming industry. This year, the industry is already like a third has already laid off about a third amount of the people that were laid off all of last year in all of the gaming.
So are we okay? So is that because it hasn't grown, or is that because of inflation and other factors that feel is kind of?
There's other factors. It's not just that it hasn't grown.
That's what I'm saying.
You do have to take overspending, over budgeting. You do have to take the pandemic. You do have to take in games not being produced. You know,
games
at,
not
at
being
the rate that is.
but what you spent not being recouped.
Right. Do you think about Redfall? They had to put Redfall out. They didn't want to put Redfall out. Think about that for a minute. Like, really
make something off of it.
They had to get something back off of it, even though they knew that game was dog crap. It was crap. And shout out to Nintendo, man. Over there really thinking hard, like, hey, we just got to give the people less of what they want so we can make money.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Let's continue. Yeah.
Sorry.
To me, they saying I can't depend on y'all, which, you know, if you got Game
These
Pass.
fans ain't loyal.
And they buying Game Pass, they are loyal. It's just not enough of them. And you gave them a platform that also kills sales. Because you're giving them Game Pass, which they don't have to pay for the game, but which Keith said last week. So you have given them the way to, you have undermined your own profits. Because you thought Game Pass was going to cause a migration, and it didn't. And now you got to stick with it because this is what you promised. So you got to stick with it even though it's not profitable. You're not profiting from it. Let's continue.
From the players that I have, or do you think about how do I expand the business I have by finding new players and adding
new players, meaning PlayStation and Nintendo.
Those to the base of players. That
Nintendo got 150 Switches out in the world, bro. Y'all don't think they looking at that? Sony is already at 50 million. Where's Microsoft? About 20-something million behind that? Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Play. Our focus on Xbox.
Did you already pass the part where he talked about the CEO of AMD?
Yeah, saying the decline of AMD, yes.
Think about that for a minute. AMD historically has been the one who's been supporting making the PlayStations and the Xbox. Right. And he said that there's going to be a decline. He could be speaking to something, or I could be reading into it. But if there's not enough consoles being purchased, or they're going to go away.
Or the form factor is shifting, which we'll talk about.
Or that too. Because
that's something I want to talk about. Is the form factor shifting? You know, Sony is talking about there's rumor of a hybrid system for Sony, and there's rumor of a portable system with Xbox. Has Switch and what's the Valve's Steam Deck and the what was that, the other one, the Linux, what is that one? Lenovo, all that. This is kind of changing things.
Cascade has really been on that latter point of how do we make sure Xbox is growing for our players, growing for our creators, so those people are finding success on our platform, which will grow the Xbox business and put Xbox in a position to be very strong for years and decades to come.
Matt, earlier you were talking about these growing gaming communities, how they're incredibly large and comparable on such a different level when we think about console audiences. Like you mentioned Roblox, you mentioned Fortnite. So how are we're obviously thinking about our responsibility, our hardware responsibility is supporting the growth of gaming communities. How has that actually shown up for the players? Are there other games we can speak to from our portfolio?
Well, as Phil mentioned, two of the biggest ones for us, Call of Duty and Minecraft, they are driven just from the bottom up by the communities of people that play those games.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I really feel like they really milking the crap out of Call of Duty. Like they really make. I don't know how y'all feel, but to hear them say Call of Duty as if they was been producing it this whole time just feels so fake to me. Instead of saying with the acquisition of Call of Duty and the success we've already had with Minecraft, they're saying that like they made Call of Duty.
At the audience. They're not talking to you, the gamer. They're talking to the investor. That's why it feels weird.
Oh, it feels so stupid. Anyway,
which is so
you're
great.
right.
I think, think about it, for the player community, it comes down to where are the friends, where are the people you play with, and then equally important is where have you built up your library of games, right? Where have you invested? Where's that library? I think those two things probably are some of the biggest influences on where people choose to play and what devices they choose to play.
Yeah.
When we think about, on the other side, the developer side, just any game developer wants their game to find the biggest audience possible. That's just the nature of building a game. You want people to enjoy and participate in what you've made. And I think we're in a unique position to deliver on that, just because we are the platform. We build hardware, we've got a first-party games group, and then we've got a system that ties that together, that brings together your friends, your progression, your achievements, all of that. And I think that's really what has contributed to the momentum behind some of these communities.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you look at, just step back and you look at the history of the industry.
I'm sorry, Keith. Sarah Bond just here. She doesn't seem like she's adding nothing to this conversation.
She don't. I'm telling you, she was just there to say stuff that Phil couldn't say because he'd get in trouble.
Someone built and launched a game to accelerate hardware, to actually the things we do with our hardware and with our platform are all in service of making those games bigger. And we think about that across all of the investments we make, the consoles we build, the investments we do with things like cross-play, cross-progression, the things that we're doing with cloud. How do we actually give more options to game creators so they can have the greatest success? I think one of the fun recent examples about this is actually Pal World. Pal World was able to launch, they were a game preview, they launched in Game Pass, they also simultaneously launched in Steam. And through the combination of those things, Pocket Pair was able to have this outsized success, and it was the largest third-party Game Pass launch ever. And that's all because we give creators options on how they can launch their games. We've got subscription, we've got retail, we've got free-to-play, we've got game preview, we have the consoles, we have our experience on PC, and they can access
I skip her?
all of those things. And when we step back and we just look at the performance,
no, because she makes a statement.
Okay.
we see the highest level of users on cloud
in there that
ever.
I want to.
We have double-digit growth rate on PC
The
and
Power
cloud,
World
places
one?
where we're enabling.
The Power World one that they've claiming we don't need exclusivity, but then you claim Power World. You say Sony shouldn't just have Hell Divers on Xbox, but then you bring up Power World. That's double talk. But that, and there's another statement she says.
Oh, have we got to it yet? Or are we?
Not that.
To actually
No,
reach
we haven't got
new
there.
players beyond the console ecosystem. And that's why we're leaning into it and doing more, because we see all those signals.
So we're talking about the role that hardware
is it
plays
a
for
technical
creators, for the games and those communities. What about the role that hardware plays for us as a business, for Xbox?
When we look at our hardware, it really is, and Phil said this earlier, it's where you get the most flagship seminal experience of Xbox.
This is really what I said last week, that they're going to try to do something unique for Xbox owners, but Xbox platform is really not what they're focused on, but they will have unique experiences there for those who actually own their box. But they're trying to move beyond that box. K-Bomb, is it? Have we reached the point you're talking about, or keep playing? K-Bomb?
I'm trying to listen to her. She talks about the hardware. It's actually when she brings up the 2 points. She brings up the fact that there's going to be new hardware.
Oh, okay.
Also represents a developer's hardware. Our developers can build the specs of our hardware,
Right.
and we invest to make sure they know when they do that the games are going to run great on our hardware, but they're also going to be able to be accessed across any screen because of all the other investments we make. So we're giving them an easy way to access as many players as possible. And we actually have more creators right now building for Xbox than ever before thousands of them by nature of those investments. And we got more to come. There's some exciting stuff coming out in hardware that we're going to share this holiday. And we're also invested in the next generation roadmap. And what we're really focused on there is delivering the largest technical leap you will have ever seen in a hardware generation, which makes it better for players and better for creators and the visions that they're building.
So they got new hardware coming some new hardware coming in holiday season, and then she mentioned a technical leap that we have never seen. Is that what you were talking about?
Yep.
Go ahead.
We got to talk about that.
Go ahead. You got
Because okay, we got to talk about that. Let me jump this really quickly because your current hardware ain't selling. Your current hardware ain't selling. So what improvement? What are you coming out with? Because they already said they've already came out with their Pro version, right? That's what they said to us. They said the Xbox Series X is the Pro version. They just came out with it at release, and the Xbox Series S was supposed to be the regular next gen version, right? So what hardware are you coming out with this holiday season? Like, could someone help me out?
You did hear that they turned their hardware development over to the same people that make the Surface now. Like, it's no longer.
I heard that.
Huh?
Yes, I heard that.
Yeah, like the people that make the Surface is now. It's in the writing, folks. Just look at the details.
But you just told me you want to go beyond the box.
Because they are. Because I think the box is going to be like a Surface or something like that.
But then how do you give me this new cutting edge next gen system that is the biggest leap we've ever seen?
By giving you a
said
PC.
Technical leap. She said technical leap. It doesn't. I don't think she necessarily meant in like graphical. She would have said graphic. I think she just said technical, meaning that they're doing something different. I don't think the games are going to look any better than what they look like on the Series or the PlayStation. I think they're trying something completely new. Play anywhere. I don't know.
You might turn on your Windows and see. They already got it, but it might be your computer that you got right now. That's the new system. I don't know. I mean, they said they basically turned over development to the team that makes the Surface and all that stuff. So you going in a different direction, clearly.
You keep telling me no box, and then you keep selling me a box. Like you got to help me out on that. You got to help me out because those things I feel they contradict a little bit.
They are,
and so we'll see because this generation was supposed to be the largest jump. It's supposed to be the most powerful console ever created. That was the speech. That was the calling card. That's what they sold us. And then you outsold your most powerful console with a system that was less powerful than your previous system. I don't get it, bro. Like I don't get it. I don't understand.
They mismanaged 2 generations in a row, bro. They mismanaged the Xbox One. They mismanaged the Xbox Series X and S. So let's continue.
When we're talking about hardware too, there's these other considerations that are really important to our community, probably to each one of ourselves as well. When you talk about library, because I want to dig in on that a little bit more. You know, as we talk about cloud in the wider entertainment industry, there's conversations about streaming. How is that impacting how I own my content that I've invested in? So what can we say about our stance around game preservation?
Yeah, you know, one of the highlights for me of being in this position was getting to stand on stage when we announced back compat coming to Xbox One. Like, it was fantastic. People were reading the teleprompter before I could read it. I'm a slow reader, and just feeling the energy in the auditorium as we were saying that and online. You know, one of the cues I think us as being part of Microsoft take is looking at Windows and how Windows over decades has maintained software compatibility with things that are built on it. Like, I can still go back and play some of the games that I love playing on Windows from decades ago, and it will still run. And we try to bring that same view to consoles. It's harder in console because the line between what the hardware is and what the game is in consoles is traditionally, it's tighter, which makes compatibility, you end up doing these generational compatibilities that we've built. But I will say compatibility, the ability to not only play the games, but my saves are still there with our cloud save systems to try to keep the services up as long as we can so that people can play. is a tenet of what we are as Xbox. It's at our foundation. And when we look at future hardware generations and what we're going to support, making sure that we respect, which is the word I use, respect the investments that people have made in Xbox going forward is fundamental. And the fact that you get entitlements when you buy a game from us on both Windows and Xbox also means you have the ability to play that game across a multitude of devices, which I think furthers the compatibility of the games that you own.
What y'all think about that? He brought up Windows as a model that because Windows, all your stuff can still be accessed and all. So Keith, being a PC guy, what is he saying here? What was that whole spiel about?
We're going software, guys. That's what he's saying. Our focus moving forward is software. Whatever Sarah over there talking about, like you said, they could be building a Surface device, but we are going to focus on what we do best, and that's software infrastructure. They're telling you we gotta cut the cancer, and the thing that's killing the Xbox division right now is trying to build hardware. We've turned it over to the Surface team. We're going to focus on the software, similar to the Windows team. And that's how we got to rock moving forward, or else everybody loses. That's why he keeps saying we all win.
Ain't this the same thing people told Nintendo to do several years ago?
Yeah, but Nintendo built different.
I know they built different. I just find it funny that it's coming full circle back to Xbox. That's why I say that statement.
Yeah. So basically, this when he mentioned Windows, I was like, man. And then they turned it over to the Surface team to build the next. I'm like, bro, the writing on the wall, man. So whatever we getting in at the holiday season, going to be tablet Surface related. It may be software. It may be a device where you can play it. Because look at how everything trending. Like I said, with the Steam Deck and all these that you can play anywhere. You can play at your house. You can access all this stuff. They can put Game Pass on there. I think yeah. It's going to be something. Go ahead.
Did Sarah said it's going to be a technical leap in consoles?
It's going to be a technical leap. She didn't really say consoles, I don't think. I can go back. Let me go back.
No, I'm just wondering if she was specific, because if you, I don't know if y'all seen that thing on the internet where they got the little Fire Stick looking USB dongle things you plug in the back of your TV and you play your Xbox that way. I wonder if it's something like that. Just plug it into your TV.
I have heard seen that.
Like, what is that? But the way she could spin it is she said technical leap in consoles, because we don't have a console like that, but we do have Fire Sticks and what is Google TVs and all the other stuff.
Right.
I just wonder. I don't know. Like, if you can't buy a smart TV or your TV doesn't come with these apps, you can buy things to add these apps. Therefore, you can add Windows. You can turn your TV into a PC or turn your TV into a console. And I think Xbox Game Pass is built into some TVs already. As I think they tested it. So I think they could be speaking to that. I really think they're getting out of the hardware and they're letting other people handle it.
Man,
it's just,
let's
Can we go back to what
this last
Xbox
part.
stands for today? I think we've pretty much covered all of the elements, but if you could break it down for me.
When you play on Xbox, what we're saying is you're playing on a platform where the biggest games in the world are always going to be.
Oh, Lord.
You're playing on a platform where you get to access Game Pass.
Stop lying. Y'all just bought Call of Duty. Stop. They don't know. Anyway.
And all of the games from our incredible...
How in the world do you... And this I'm not a fanboy, but I can't stand the lying and just the mistalk. When you buy Xbox, you're going to be where all the biggest games are. No, you're not. No. You got one of the biggest games. That's Call of Duty. The rest of the games is everywhere else. Because they're first party and they're exclusive. Anyway. Let me stop. Go ahead.
Full range of studios will always launch in Game Pass day one. And you're playing on a platform that's dedicated to you, like
No, it's
player-first
not.
features.
They're not dedicated. Anyway,
Play,
keep going.
cross-save, cross-progression, backwards compatibility, being able to play your games in your library anywhere you want because of the investments that we make in cloud gaming. And so you're playing somewhere where you're investing and you know you get to take the games forward with you and across all of the screens where you are. And I think most importantly, Xbox is a place where you know when you're investing in Xbox, you're investing somewhere that is dedicated to making games more successful and creators more successful so that they can invest more to bring even better experiences to you all of the time.
Yeah, just that investment in the studios is so, and we feel that as part of first party with the platform proximity. You know, it's kind of amazing now to look out across all the studios we've got and just be reminded that we're now one of the biggest development organizations in the industry. What does that mean for players? It means that the biggest games are going to continue to come to Xbox. And this 2024, the year coming up, we've got more than 10 major releases coming up. Great stuff. Hellblade 2. We've got Diablo expansion.
These are not
We've got
the
Avowed,
biggest games,
Ara,
man.
the
What are they
Indiana
talking
Jones
about?
game. And there's more in development, which I think we're going to be able to share more about at our June showcase coming up pretty soon.
Well, I guess I should get ready to work on that show. Well, thank you all for showing up on the
Well, that was
podcast
it.
today, and we'll see the rest of you this June.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tina.
Thank you.
Oh my God. So we've been on here 2 hours. We was gonna talk about PlayStation, but we'll do PlayStation next week. So let's wrap this up. K-Bum, come on through and give your final thoughts over this whole situation. And then Keith, you come, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Go ahead, K-Bum.
Okay, I'm gonna be really quick. I'm gonna say this: they're lying to you. The house is really on fire, and I'm done.
Okay, all right.
He ain't lying.
Go ahead, Keith.
Listen, get ready for some changes at Microsoft. I'm so glad that we took the time to break this down and read between the lines, because if you just took it on at surface, it looks like they're just saying everything is fine, we're gonna move forward, everything business as usual. But if you really read between the lines, they're not saying business as usual. They are saying everything that you heard in over the past week is true. Get ready. Get ready.
And I'm riding with what Keith said and what K-Bum said. They just pretty much confirmed everything that was happening that they had to react to. They PR'd their way through it, but they letting you know we are shifting focus. We are shifting strategies. Maybe this was always the plan, like Phil said. This has been what they've been planning since at least 2014, somewhere around there, with Play Anywhere. Maybe PC was the strategy to figure out if it was viable, and now they're testing the waters with the other two companies. And they're going to start with 4 games. We speculate that those games are going to be Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush, and maybe 2 smaller titles. But you best believe that other titles are coming. Microsoft really just said wave the right flag on the councils. It's all in the details. Like Keith said, just read between the lines. Just read the double talk, the spin, and the misdirection. Like he said, talking to investors. I didn't even catch that, Keith. You was right on the money. What K-Bum said. All that, the writing is here, folks. Microsoft is going in a completely different direction. They just can't do it right now because this generation is live. Once they get past this generation and whatever they got coming out in December and beyond, yeah, it's going to be totally different. You don't turn your development over to your Surface and bring up Windows in the Windows and looking at Windows as inspiration for what you're trying to do. That tells me, like Keith said, they going for software. They going for something they can put any and everywhere, that you can access it on your phone, on your tablets, on your iPads, on your Xbox if you got one, and any other place that they want to put it. That's what's going to happen. So there you have it. Apologize we couldn't get into Sony stuff. They was on some Me Too. But we'll deal with they Me Too next week. That was the show for the night. I want to send a shout out to everyone that was here with us. Alan Steed, D2K, First Name Basis, Video Game Herb. Who else is up in this piece? There was a few of y'all in here. But all y'all that tuned in on the Chariot Man Gaming, that's another one. All you guys that tuned in on tonight, I thank y'all. We literally got up to about 17, 18 viewers at one time, and y'all stayed with us the whole time. I'm gonna let these brothers sign out, starting with Mr. Norris. Go ahead, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was good rocking with everybody tonight. I thought there was gonna be more drama today, but the drama was subtle. And like I said, you gotta read between those lines. I'm interested in seeing what the Xbox does and if the things that we've mentioned tonight are gonna come to light. And man, I just hope everybody have a blessed night and keep gaming.
All right, that was Mr. Norris. K-Bomb, come on through, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, enjoyed the podcast. This was definitely a PR spin podcast, what theirs were. But anyway, I enjoyed chatting up with the homies. Your boy, I am closing on the new house tomorrow. So prayers up for your boy. I just wrote the biggest check I ever wrote in my entire life. Just got to put the key to the bank and got the cashier check. But your boy's closing on the house. We'll be moving in this weekend. So the next time we have the podcast, it will be from the new location. So I am very excited about that. So have fun tonight, though. Looking forward to next time.
All right, congratulations on that, bro. I seen you share some of the pictures, man. I'm looking forward to my room. I don't know what I'm gonna put on the wall, but yes. Anyway, no, that looks nice.
I have a switch waiting for you.
Yeah, let's bring it up there. I'll give it some light. We'll hook it up. I bet that thing ain't seen electricity in a while.
Hey, you don't have your cross saves though, man. You gotta get your cross saves. Call Microsoft.
Right.
So that was the show for tonight. Like I said, we'll be back next week, same time, same place. And we'll talk about Sony and maybe what's going on with Nintendo, what's they playing, like all these rumors about a direct and a partner showcase. None of that happened. But I believe that they waited for this to happen. I believe this is all kind of syncing up. I believe Microsoft will be heavily involved in whatever Nintendo is doing next. I just feel that that's what's going to happen. We're going to see Microsoft at Nintendo's event. And it's going to be Hi-Fi Rush and some other stuff. So I'm curious how that's going to pop off with the partner showcase. If that's it, what it's going to be. But anyway, thank y'all for tuning in on tonight. Stay safe, stay blessed. And this is the Live Level Gamers Podcast. Till next time, deuces.
We got smashed, bro. We got smashed, bro.